when the night falls, when the shadows become dark and black, the silent pall of evil settles upon the earth. Who dares to search? Who dares to see what walks in the night? If you dare, welcome to the nightmare of the Gratu Orloff Show, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, today is Saturday, probably August 14th, 2022, in the year of our Lord. We're going to have an amazing comic-oriented show today. We're going to be looking at some action comics from the Silver Age and some adventure comics with Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes, and some vintage hot rod magazines. Also, we had a special request from Whippet Lass in England. She wants to see some hot rod magazines and Big Daddy Roth kind of stuff. So, provided we have enough time, we'll see all of those things today. We have about 5-minute window before Right Side Broadcasting goes live. And since they don't show Saturday morning cartoons anymore, we watch Right Side Broadcasting. And today they're going to be having a big, something I've been looking forward to. I don't know exactly what it is, but some big special programming today. We'll find out together. I'll be listening to that in the background, which will highly annoy some of you. And let me see. It will highly annoy some of you, so it is what it is, because I'm building back better. So yeah, I'm moving forward. I'm sorry if it's problematic or if it triggers you. Yeah, a new subscriber just complained about last Saturday's Archie show, which I thought everybody liked when I showed all the Archie comics. But no, it's like he wrote, "What in the deuce is going on in the background?" I gotta plug you guys in very carefully so I don't stop the broadcast. Okay. Phone is low on energy. It's my cellular telephone runs on fossil fuels, which is problematic, but I'm just chilling. Even though fossil fuels are an existential threat to our democracy and the new liberal order, because we're moving forward here on the Gratu channel. So yeah. But that being said, let's talk about our sponsors, BlackRock and Big Pharma. They're wonderful people, ladies and gentlemen. This is the mobile mic. Here we go. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, what in the deuce is going on with that horrible racket in the background? Who talks like that? What in the deuce is going on? Sherlock Holmes, I guess. Yeah, it was a bunch of people getting excited for the Donald Trump rally in the background of the Archie video, because I was playing the pregame for the big rally last Saturday night at 7. Or was it last Friday? I don't know. It was Friday or Saturday. But anyway, when those Donald Trump rallies come on, I watch all leading up to it, all the excitement, all the interviews. Yes, it is what it is. All right, we barely started, and I already need to go turn off the exciting music from the Gratu Orloff Studio Orchestra and start my other recording. Oh, that's perfect. Let's stop that. We're listening to Hammond a Go-Go, Volume 2 from James Last. James Last. I think that's the guy that Paulo was telling me I should listen to. I don't know. Could be. All right. Let the stormy clouds chase every idiot from the place. Come on with the comics, I've got a smile on my face. I walk down the lane with a happy refrain. I'm singing, just singing in the goddamn son of a bitch. Let me set this down somewhere. Oh, we got a, God damn it. There we go. what you need to do is go to the Rumble network on the phone. I mean, on the telephone, the TV, whatever you call this thing. Rumble. Yes, install the Rumble app on your Roku. Buy a Roku if you don't have a Roku. Apple TV, that's shitty. Buy a Roku. Okay, so here we go. Are they on yet?
This is probably one of the most important dates that you should put on your calendar, and it all starts here in Arizona. Mark Fincham, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, it's Christina.
Now we can look at the comments.
We're reporting live here from Arizona, very just undisclosed place. Should we get on stage?
Maybe I should turn that down a little bit.
Right now
I don't think that YouTube likes this kind of
so I'm just going to move over here.
All right, let's go back in here and listen to look at some wonderful comical books, some funny books. Yeah. So yeah, I really love being insulted. It's great. But my channel is pretty shitty, I have to admit. But I'll build back better. I promise you. I promise you. I'm so sorry about my channel having noise in the background. Oh my gosh, it's so terrible. All right. Having said that, we'll build back better. Okay. Alrighty, let's take a look at these comic books. Here's Action Comics 283. The 12 cents is real big because comics had just switched over to 12 cents. Before, comics had been 10 cents since comics were invented. But in late 1961, early 1962, comics went up to 12 cents. A few companies experimented with going to 15 cents for 5 minutes and realized, oh shit, we can't do that. But even 12 cents comic sales dropped for a couple of years and didn't really get back to where they were until 64 because little boys, who were the primary audience of comic books, just stopped buying as many. Right? In fact, 2 cents isn't much, but we're talking 1960s money before our whole economy was destroyed by us going off the gold standard. Okay, so that's 283. 286. The reason it's 12 cents isn't to excite the kids. I mean, it's the reason that they put 12 cents so large is not because they're trying to entice the kids and say, hey, isn't this great? It's 12 cents. Look, we're making it real big. It's there to make sure the people at the checkout counter remember and don't just automatically charge 10 cents because they've been doing that for decades, since the late 1930s. That's what comics cost. So it was a bigger adjustment for the people that ran the drugstores or the whatever little newsstands that kids bought comics at. 288. Comics for girls did not go down in sales as much. Lois Lane, the sales kept going pretty well, but and romance comics kept selling because little girls weren't as bothered by the 12-cent increase as boys were. And right about that time period is when all the big Marvel heroes were either revived or invented, and so a lot of those early Marvel hero appearances were 12 cents in the very beginning of the 12-cent era, and so there's just not as many of them out there, which is why they have astronomical prices, because they're very scarce because kids didn't buy them. Fantastic Four #1 was still a 10-cent comic. That happened right. The change happened after that. Here's Action Comics #12. It's Supergirl meets Super Horse. I love this time period with the super pets and everything, and All of that was done away with Crisis on Infinite Earths and everything. We're going to make everything more easy to understand and more serious. And I liked the old crazy stuff from this era, so I was sort of disenchanted by that. 294. Damn, every time I start a show, I become starving. 297. 299. I thought they weren't supposed to start till 11. They started early. They tricked me. It's hard to imagine there are people out there that don't like Donald Trump, but it's hard to imagine that people worship Satan and Moloch and all that. But, you know, some people say, well, all these politicians are the same. Donald Trump is just like all the rest of them. He's just an actor. They're all in on it. But the amount of vitriol and hatred they have for Trump, I don't care. Robert De Niro at his prime, Laurence Olivier weren't that good at actors. They hate him. They despise him. They hiss at him like a vampire with a cross up to them. Really, that's how these people act. They act like vampires with a crucifix in front of them when they see Donald Trump. So that tells me that and they can't get anything on him, and they're so frustrated. It's like, oh, he's been stealing. Fuck shit. Everything he ever did that could be considered scandalous, we've known about for decades on the cover of National Enquirer and People. That, he was kind of a bit of a womanizer when he was young, and that's all they can get on him. And they think, whoa, that's nothing, I had to do all these weird things in a coffin when I was in my college fraternity to get into the Illuminati New World Order and have something against me. And look, that's, oh well. And we can't bribe him because he's so rich. What are we going to do? Oh. 302. 305. I don't know about you, but in Texas and here in where I used to live and here in Wisconsin where I've moved to, there's hardly any cat food. Is the cat food shortage nationwide or is it worldwide? And why is there a cat food shortage? Why is it baby food and cat food? I mean, baby formula, whatever. Why are those the two things that are become so sought after? It's very mysterious. Yep. I have no idea what I just showed you. Did I show you 305? Probably. I have no clue. Did I show you 306? This is a special variant with this scribble on it. It makes it more valuable. I know some people that work for CGC, and they say they prefer it when there's scribble on the cover because it makes the comic more valuable. It gives it personality. And I'm joking, but sometimes it actually does. Sometimes little marks from the previous owner do give the comic some personality, depending on what they are and whether they draw over the artwork. If a kid fills out a coupon in the comic but doesn't cut it out and just leaves their name and address in there from 1962, then that makes it interesting to me because I know who the original owner was, and I can do a Google Earth and see where that house was that person lived in, and see, okay, that's where this comic book used to be, in that particular place. Look at that. That's such a great cover. That's fantastic. You've got Lori Lemuris. You've got some of the Legion of Superheroes. It's amazing. Supergirl. the one of Superman's girlfriends, you know this, is Lori Ramirez, and then of course his high school, middle school girlfriend was Lena Lang, and then his adult girlfriend was Lois Lane, and his main villain was Lex Luthor. This was issue 309, by the way. And so you think, what is it with those LLs? Well, Superman was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, who, like almost everybody in the comic book industry, was Jewish, and I think they just listened in when they went to synagogue, and they heard about Elohim and the El, and it's like, because Superman is this Moses allegory, coming from, it's there's a lot of religious symbolism in Superman, and that's where the L comes from, I believe. But and there's something Krypton, I think crypto or something in Latin means hidden, so it was like a hidden world. They thought it out a little bit. They weren't just like two high school kids that they were pretty smart. Of course, they got shafted by DC and didn't really get taken care of until they were very elderly, and one of them was blind at that point. But that was when they had to make amends because the Superman movie was coming out. So a lot of Superman covers where he becomes dictator or king of Earth. He'd be better than Joe Biden, that's for sure. But we're not supposed to talk about politics here because I might offend new subscribers. 315. Oh, wow, I have 2 copies of 315. That's just amazing. 316. I need to use my my card that tells me cool things to say. I'm going to use that in the box so I don't keep losing my place. Because I'm just chilling, just saying. If I keep using them enough, I'll sound like Hillary Clinton and be cool, and people will want to vote for me. Whoa, man. I got them out of order already. All right, so that brings us to Action Comics number 317. $319. Back in the Silver Age, there were a lot of yellow covers and purple covers. Purple covers were known to sell better. But the real reason why, as far as background colors, let me show you something. When the comics are for a particular month come out, they want to have different background colors. They don't want a bunch of comics coming out one month all with yellow backgrounds. So they say, okay, you're going to have a green cover, you'll have this kind of orangish cover, you'll have a yellow, you'll have a purple. And they couldn't just put out all purple covers in 1 month because they wanted the comics to be distinctive. So that's the story on that. 322. So it was all thought out. Although it would be logical for this one, Action Comics 3/24, to have a green background because they're in a jungle. So they got the green color. Yes, indeed.
God, we come to you with a sober
329.
today,
How about that?
but with absolute resolve. I thank you that you have raised
It's
up
kill or be killed when Superman faces a showdown with the ultimate enemy. Sorry. Come on and fight, whoever you are. You've robbed me of all my superpowers, but I'm not afraid to die. I'll duel you to the death. It's got a rainbow shield. The rainbow didn't have the meaning that it does now back then. Rainbow just was a cool thing. You know, now it has a particular meaning. Okay, this is a cover I've always liked. I heard Night Tiger talking about how he likes covers with devils on them. I think I just saw right as I was going on here that he was being interviewed by the comic collector geek.
We thank you that you have that type of authority. We don't. We ask that your kingdom would come in everything that we do. I pray that every person in here would be protected spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Comic collector geek, I always think that he must be Richie Rich grown up, because he owns every comic ever made on his wall behind him. He has everything. He has, it's like he's got, jeez, that's got to be over $1 million worth of comics on his wall. And he's got every Warren magazine, everything ever done, including Eerie #1, which was printed like in small numbers as an ash can just to secure your name Eerie. That guy is got a lot of good comics. Comic collector geek. This is one of those purplish bluish covers, 336. And they're beautiful. It's just sometimes hard to read the black ink on depending on how dark the purple ink behind it is. But I complain about that in every episode, don't I? 337. You know, most homeless people just have tents, but Superman builds a little shed, little shack, rather.
And now we give you the Arizona nominee for governor and America's governor.
339. $342. He's fastened a super bomb to my belt and trapped me on Earth. In 24 hours, it'll go off, killing 3 billion people. Not even you can penetrate my force shield, Superman, and if you try to remove the bomb, poof, Earth is doomed as the Man of Steel becomes a superhuman bomb. 3 billion people back in, it's probably right around 65 or so. Now there's 4 or more billion people. People are breeding like rats. But thank goodness the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab and Yuval Harari are thinking of ways to reduce the Earth's population. Evil Ernst Stavro Blofeld ways to do it. But oh well. It's all a conspiracy theory. It's all not real. Don't worry about it. Just keep looking at comic books and just ignore the fact that we're halfway into a Marxist revolution. Just ignore it. Nothing to see here except the wonderfulness of this cover. I'm sorry, I just can't ignore it. Because knowledge is power. All right? I can hardly wait to switch from Superman into my new role as Secret Agent Clark Kent, nemesis of spies and saboteurs. You can see the influence of James Bond in the mid-60s, Man from U.N.C.L.E., all that. Actually, we're probably getting into 66 with the go-go checks at the top. The go-go checks were designed so that when a... Okay, so you're on the news. You're at a 7-Eleven or a Stop and Go or whatever. You're pulling up the comics on a spinner rack. As I pull this up, I can automatically tell it's a DC comic. I don't know what DC comic it is. Could be Young Romance or Army at War or whatever. But immediately I see it's DC. So that's why that's there. Some, and then of course if the comics are displayed like this, sometimes comics were displayed, not in a spinner rack, but as like magazines with a magazine in front of it, you can tell it's DC. Marvel had at this time, Marvel had a block here that showed the character and said Marvel Comics Group. So that let you know if your comics are displayed like this, it's Marvel. In the early 70s and most of the 70s, Marvel had a strip across the top that said Marvel Comics Group. Same reason, just pulling a comic up a little bit, because in a spinner rack, the comics were mixed oftentimes, either by the news dealer or by kids just picking up a comic, putting it back in the wrong place. So you'd always have to pull up comics to see what was behind the comics. And some kids wouldn't pull them up. They would bend them forward. They'd flick through the comics, which would cause a stress break right about here. That sometimes would be a color-breaking stress break. But that was just how it was. But I'm not telling you anything you don't know, because most of the people that watch, the average person that watches the shows in their 40s to 50s, according to YouTube Studio, whatever. And 75% of the people that watch are subscribed. 97% are male. We've got people, I think, in the U.S., Israel, England, and Finland that watch. So that's. But I don't know how they get all these stats, because when I signed up for YouTube, did you guys put all that information in? Did you put in how old you were, where you live? I don't know. I don't remember doing that. So somehow they know a lot about everybody. Oh, I have another copy of 349. I guess I liked the Mummy cover, or forgot I owned it. Oh, this is a great cover. 350. Secret of the Stone Age Superman. So I'm missing 351. Another copy of the same issue. I wish I'd bought 351 instead of this. It's just I buy what I see, and I don't get comics through mail order very often, which is stupid. That's how I should be doing it. But I'll find comics, and I'm not sure, because I don't have a phone app that tells me all the comics in my collection. So sometimes I'll buy something a second time by accident. Here's 354. It's got a date stamp, which I love. August 7th, 1967. That means that is the day that this was put on the newsstand. They put it there just so they know when to pull it off the stand, just like an expiration date on a loaf of bread. But some people probably don't like that, but those people are morons. Because if you're just buying these as an investment and you need 9.8 condition copies, and you send them off to slab them, you never read them, they're just an investment for you, then, you know, that's fine for you. But I buy these because I love them, and I love the time period that they were published, and everything about them is fantastic to me. And 357. Yeah, see, the bad, the biker type people are still kind of drawn, like Marlon Brando in the Wild One with the little caps, kind of like Eric Von Zipper. But pretty soon, as we get into the later 60s, the artists that work at National are going to realize, well, that's not really how bikers look anymore. Now they're scraggly with long hair. And gradually, this is about 357. Okay, so 357, still, things change here with 358. Now, Superman looks more realistic. It's a little darker. It's the introduction of Neil Adams, and the red reflection of the lights from the ambulance, the red reflection of his boots, and the reddish reflection all hint at blood. That they really can't show the blood, but you look at the cover and you think you're seeing blood all over the place. It's really tricky, and it's really this is when things changed. The look of DC changed, at least for Action Comics with that issue, I think. I'm not an authority on anything. What I tell you is what I think is correct and how I feel, and I could be mistaken on all kinds of shit. I don't know. Just the way it is. And that's the way it is. So I'm sorry if I'm triggering you. Triggering. I'm triggered. Yeah. What do you think? What? Oh, I have 2 copies of this Guilty of Homicide issue.
I'm glad that Craig and Catherine are not to try to kick this thing off with prayer. But I will tell you, as a believer and a Christian, we do have an enemy. John 10:10 says the thief has come to steal, kill, and destroy.
Okay.
Be alert and of sober mind, for your enemy, the devil.
359.
So we do have an enemy. That enemy is very clever in how he attacks us, how he steals, kills, and destroys.
And then this cover is just gorgeous, and this copy is great. The dot tells me I bought it at Duncanville Books, and it was $20, but I think the red dot meant I got it for half price. I'm not sure, but it's a board game. It's a beautiful purple cover. It's just, the art is fantastic. It's everything about it is lovely. See, they did it with Supergirl's name too, the double L's, and then her villain Lesla Lar. Yeah, they kept going with it. Linda becomes fat, lose 1 turn. That's fucking fantastic. The Infinite Monster, go back 2. Damn, that's beautiful. Beautiful, I tell you. 360. So I'm missing 4 issues, and I come back with 365 with a lovely rolled spine. part of what I'm doing now is seeing what issues I'm missing. Here's 366 with a June 25th date stamp. Okay, here's 367. Got 2 copies. They don't need Superman anymore. I'm through, finished. They elected Donald Trump. It really bothers people when Donald Trump's name is mentioned. 371. Oh well. President of Steel. Mr. President, it's time for your press conference. I'll be out in a moment. With this makeup on, who'd guess that the president's other identity is Superman? He's disguising himself as Joe Biden. The president at the time was probably still LBJ. I don't know if Nixon... either LBJ or maybe Nixon had just come in, because Nixon became president in 68 to 72, and then he was running for a second term in 72, and that's when the Watergate thing happened, which is like nothing. If you look at the whole Watergate incident, it's nothing compared to what's going on today. Okay, so the masked Superman. So you thought you could beat me, eh? I'll crush your skull like an eggshell. Wow. That triggers me. I'm a hypocrite. The world respects me as Superman, but I'm really a criminal. If I could only stop myself from putting on this mask. Yeah, we're definitely in a new era for Superman. Here's another one of those double covers, 378. I think Night Tiger was showing this the other day. He was happy that not only was it a double cover, it was a voodoo cover. Here's another time Superman became dictator of Earth. He's again got this Superman flag. From this moment on, there is no more United Nations. My Superman banner will replace all other flags. I'm taking over the whole world. That would actually be great. People think that would be terrible if the UN was gone. No, I'd rather Superman run everything, honestly. Okay, I'm 100,000 years old. Drew does not like those people walking down the street. He's immortal. Okay. He's in the Home for Old Superheroes, which is issue number 386. 388. See, the Batmobile is taken on characteristics from the Barris design from just a minute, from the 1966 television show. A lot of influence from the show wound up in the comic. We're almost to the adventure comics. Yesterday I showed 1970s Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes comics. Now I'm going to show you the the original stuff, the stuff that I have. I don't have a world-class collection. I don't have all of them. $3.92. Here's $3.95. And I have 2 copies of that one.
We went through 23 audits or investigations from 5 different government agencies, ending in our suing the IRS and ultimately beating the IRS, which was awesome.
People sure are mean to Superman. This is $3.96.
And now, on Monday, the same day we raid Mar-a-Lago, we see that they've added 87,000 new agents, and they're arming them, and by their own word, to shoot to kill. So, we need to understand the world that we're now in. And it's going to get real serious.
Lois is married. Jimmy's a big wheel, and all my friends gone. The world doesn't need me anymore. There's an aged Superman.
Story is just one of many that just, I tell Greg all the time, if this is not happening to us, there is no way.
My son, is he man or beast? That's probably what Joe Biden wondered a few times, although I'm sure he's perfectly happy with his son. His son is chip off the old block. Another great cover, 402. Beautiful cover. 407. I consider the Silver Age for DC to end when this circular 48 pages for 25 cents ends. That's what comics for 15 cents DC decided. Well, we'll give you more pages. We're going to raise it to a quarter. Marvel just raised their prices to 20 cents. And I guess DC sales slumped, so they decided we'll become 20 cents as well. And we'll put our page count back to the way it was. So when that ends and DC Comics become 20 cents, I keep them in separate boxes. I keep my Golden Age and Silver Age separate. That's not, I don't think, an accurate. I think some people consider the Silver Age to end a little bit before that, but that's just how I do it. It makes it very easy to organize comics. Actually, there's tape on that. There's 48 pages for only a quarter. And those 407, 412, they say, well, hey, we'll give you 52 pages for a quarter. It still didn't work. It's not the page count, it's that the kids just couldn't afford that high price for a comic. And I know you're thinking, 25 cents, that's nothing for a comic. I just paid $4, $5 for the comics on Wednesday. But you got to understand that money had a different value. I mean, it's dollar stores are no longer dollar stores thanks to Joe Biden. They're now $1.25 stores, but in some of those dollar stores like Dollar General, pretty much nothing's a dollar. But Dollar Tree was actually selling shit for $1, and they can't do that anymore. But in the old days, dollar stores used to be called 5 and dimes, and the merchandise was far better than the shit that's in dollar stores. They were called 5 and dimes, and you'd buy shit for a nickel or 10 cents back in the 40s. And they kept calling them 5 and dimes up through the 60s and 70s, even though the prices were higher. But those were the ancestors, the forefathers of the modern dollar stores, created by the ancient Mayans and the Toltecs and the Egyptians. All right. So, my first adventure comic is 200 and something. Looks like 230. It's hard to read that number. Sorry. Purple ink. $274. Here's 287. These are all 10-cent comics. So this is it dates them to. Okay, so that was 287. By 291, we're up to 12 cents. This is a Cleopatra cover. Superboy's Romance with Cleopatra. He better check for STDs, man, because Cleopatra was was kind of legendary for getting around. Adventure Comics 302. Now we're into the Legion of Superheroes 302. I'm missing a few issues. Now I'm at 307. Man, what a great cover. 310. Arf, arf! It's incredible. Superboy is acting like Crypto, and Crypto is acting like a human. Smart thinking, Superboy. Saving that falling worker with your teeth. I'll reward you with a juicy bone. This fucking incredible. 310. 312. And another copy of 312. And copy of 316. So I'm missing 3 issues there. Then I have 317. 318. Seven. Okay. All right. 319. Another copy of 319. Then I'm missing 320. Here's 321. I've got to get these missing issues, man. 321. This is a great one. 322. It's the Legion of Super Pets. Prody 2. For the first test to get into our Legion, you must impersonate Superboy and perform super deeds. I can change myself to Superboy, but without superpowers, how can I duplicate his feats? 322. There's 323. $324. $324. Again, another copy. Here's 326.
concerned about not knowing where to vote, where do I vote, so on and so forth. Again, we always do, that were troubling, and troubling in their criminal area. They would describe it, the abuse of drop boxes and what they received and their observation of their firsthand involvement. So it was at that point that we
Here's,
go in with the
well, I'm missing 327 and 328 because here's 329, the Bizarro Legionnaires.
citizens across the state file citizen challenges, which is something that many people don't know.
And here's 330.
Voter in your county and you know that there are ineligible records in your voter rolls, you can submit those records in most states.
331.
You can submit those records to the state, and it starts a process that's a different path between
333, the Civil War of the Legion.
about that story is
Great cover.
days after we have 300 help, we prepared
We're missing 334. Here's 335.
3 days after I think we
I gotta get on getting these missing issues. Oh, a purple cover shit.
this very moment. In fact, everybody that I mentioned in a press release that we did just congratulating other citizens, everybody was here. So, I don't know, 8 or 9 people in total.
Well, I think that is. Does that say 334? Maybe I wasn't missing an issue. Maybe this is 334, and I have them out of order. Does it say 334? I'm gonna put it like it's 334, and this is 335. Here's 337. Because these were not major heroes that were merchandised and made into toys and Marx figures and stuff, the Legion of Superheroes, they could marry them off, they could kill them, things could happen to them, which made the stories, because, you know, like Superman's always, nothing's ever going to happen to him because he's Superman. And he's on television and on Saturday morning and everything. But with the Legion of Superheroes, there was it just added reader engagement. 340. Okay, we're to Adventure 341. Another beautiful purple cover with 342. So what they did is it's purple, but they made the number, the month and the number of the issue in light blue so you can read it. But when they put black ink with the purple background, it's hard to read. At least for someone my age, it's hard to read. Maybe not a young whippersnapper. But young whippersnappers mostly probably aren't reading these, with some exceptions. There are cool younger people out there that are reading these. Got 2 copies of that. We're up to 344. 345. Ooh, this copy's 346. Not too good. It's got some chewing here at the top and at the bottom. But I've got another copy, it looks like, here that's better. And another beautiful purple cover 347. Here they've got white print against the purple background, which makes it easy to read. The Karate Kid. You know, when they made that Karate Kid movie back in the summer of 1984, they had to give DC National Comics credit at the end of the movie because they already had a character with that name. I saw the Karate Kid more times than I should have because I was working in a movie theater in the summer of 1984. And, you know, it was good and everything. They made a sequel, and I understand there's a really, people love this series called Cobra Kai on now that is somehow related, or it's Karate Kid grown up or something, I don't know. But I remember working in that theater, and one time there was a thunderstorm outside, and the power went off, and you know, it's like you can't control nature, right? Some guy came out of that theater furious that the movie had stopped. And it's like, you can't control lightning strikes, sir. No, I didn't say that to him, but he wasn't yelling at me. He was yelling at some other people, and it's like, God, he was so mad. I think he had a handicapped, like a child in a wheelchair that he brought to the movie, but that's no excuse. I mean, obviously when the power comes back on, but he demanded that the movie be rewound, which is apparently impossible with a projector system the way it is in a modern theater. He was thinking it's like a VHS cassette. You can just rewind a couple, like 30 seconds or a minute, then start. He was so mad. What can you do? I remember that angry guy. That was 348. Yeah. Sure was. Okay. 349. We're into, or we have been into the go-go check era. Yeah. Here's 350 and a more beat up copy of 350. And since this bag is open, let's open it up and look at it. And build these four great Aurora hobby kits. This is the one everyone remembers, the Forgotten Prisoner of Castle Mare. The Frog, I've never actually seen a real copy of that. The Green Beret, I've got a little poster for it, but I've never actually seen the Green Beret model kit. And this Pirate one, I've never seen it either. But, you know, this is what you're dealing with inside. If you're thinking of getting into the Legion of Superheroes, which you should. But see, the thing about buying the DC hardcover collections is you don't get these amazing ads for Thingmaker and it's just this is a perfectly good for reader's copy. And for the slot cars, you know, you get better feel of what it was like to be a kid when this came out. Look at that. These are heartbreakingly great. And heartbreaking in that there's nobody in the industry today that could do anything like this. Nobody. Anyway, here's a better quality copy of what you just saw. Here's 351. 350, 351, 352. $354. 355. All right. Well, that's that box. Let me show you a couple of things before we continue on with the next adventure comic box. That being said, it is what it is. Because remember, climate change is an existential threat to our democracy. Just saying. But don't trigger me, folks. Don't trigger me by saying climate change isn't real, because it's obviously real, because it's hot and it's August. Of course that's climate change, because it used to be cold in August. All right. So yesterday, I got a wonderful package in the mail from Charlton 66. He sent me this. He went to the Pulp convention, the Pulp Fest last Saturday, week ago, and he got this Pulpster for me. It's a magazine that apparently has been around for years. I never had heard of it, but I saw somewhere on Facebook or somewhere like that they were giving out this exclusive issue of Pulpster at the convention. And he said, is there anything you want me to get you there? And I said, well, look for that Pulpster magazine. And it's got all about Fiction House and Edgar Rice Burroughs and all kinds of cool stuff. Amazing. So this is going to make for some good reading. Someone's doing a men's adventure library. 2 big new books for Pulp Fest. So they're, wow. The world of collecting pulps is something I've always thought would be amazing, but I've just never really had the money for it. But I've always loved reading pulp reprints and things. And I just stumbled on some Superboy and the Legion of Superhero comics that weren't in that box I showed yesterday, so I'm gonna have to see if they weren't. I don't know if I showed you 232 yesterday. I need to put it into that box, and maybe these are ones that I didn't know I had. 233 and 227. Yeah, I don't know if I showed you those or not. Here's Tales from the Crypt Reprint. That's all you got. That it was just sticking out. It was just on top of the box. Here's a couple other things I just discovered, and I found this in the basement. It's a print, a Dave Stevens print that I have yet to frame. Came from the Fantasy Gallery in Houston, way back when. This was sent to me by Charlton 66. because he had 2 copies, and I was talking about how I've always been interested in this companion magazine to the Monster Times. I saw Howler Mouse had just bought a copy of this and another issue of Inside Comics for $5 each. He was on live this morning showing that. Anyway, this was printed on newsprint, and it was put out by James Branticelli, who would later, Joe Branticelli, who would later do a comic book column that would be in every issue of Creepy, Eerie, and Vampirella. And it's just all about the comics. This is an interview with Harvey Kurtzman, so that's great. So it's the same, you can tell it's on the same printing press, the same font of the lettering, the same ads that appear in Monster Times. This was advertised in the Monster Times. So that's how I'm aware of it. And it's another magazine I can't wait to read. So Charlton 66 is giving me lots of wonderful stuff to read that, look at this ad here, that there's just nothing around here for me, nowhere for me to buy stuff. Well, that's not really true. I could drive, I think, an hour and 16 minutes away is a big city, but I've yet to make the trek to that city. I hear it's nice. I don't. This is something I bought for $3 at Canesville Collectibles. Let me take their sticker off of it. Canesville Collectibles, I drove over 2 hours to get to that place. I filmed inside the store. If you go back in my episodes, a couple of months, Canesville Collectibles is this huge 3-story record and comic book store. But it's insane inside there. You'll just have to watch the video. Canesville Collectibles. But I need to go back sometime. That's the last time I made a major comic book purchase. But a little bit too major. It was a little bit, I spent a little too much money that day. But anyway, this is the 2000, the year 2000 Overstreet price guide. I was showing some price guides yesterday. But the hardcover ones are especially nice because you don't have to worry about bending the spine. And so 2000 was after the time period that, I wasn't that. I'd kind of become a little bit disenchanted with comics by the year 2000 for sure, because the 90s were a horrible time period. But anyway, let's see what Amazing Fantasy 15 was selling for in 2000. We saw yesterday I had a 1976 price guide, and you could get a mint copy of Amazing Fantasy 15 for $160. Let's take a darn look. Amazing Mysteries, Amazing Comics, Amazing Fantasy. Oh shit. 25,000 by that point. 1,000 in good condition, 2.0. Fine, 3,000. Very fine, 10,000. Yeah. Seems like during the 90s, that's when the massive price increases must have happened. All right, let's get another. Raise your hand if you want to see more Legion of Superheroes. Okay. Okay, raise your hand if you want to see some hot rod magazines from the 50s and 60s. Real high. Alright, well, let's look at some hot rod magazines real quick. Ugh. Now I need to get a hamburger, man. Oh boy, this is a heavy box. Ah, shit, I'm pissed. God dang it. Okay. Hot rod magazines. What the hell is this shit? There's stuff in here that I do not know what it is. Oh, that's... You don't want to see that. Here's a rogue issue of Alter Ego that needs to be put with the other issues of Alter Ego. Have yourself a Merry Marvel Marching Society Christmas. Wow. Why is it in a box marked Hot Rod Magazines? It's got an article on the 1966 Marvel Superheroes cartoons. Yeah, okay. I'm finding more stuff to read. Okay. What is that? This is called Strips. And it looks like it opens up kind of like the Monster Times, and it looks like it reprints comic strips. Alley Oop, Dilbert, Apartment 3G, Croc. Some of these I never heard of. So it looks like it reprints several weeks worth of Blondie. I guess what this does is this, you subscribe to this and it gives you several weeks of comic strips. There's Popeye. You get one, yeah. So twice a month this came out. This was volume 8, number 12, September 1996, issue number 1. Oh, it has all the contents here of what's in it. Peanuts, Gasoline Alley, Tarzan, Dick Tracy, Dennis the Menace. Okay. Hagar the Horrible, Beetle Bailey. Well, this would have been an interesting way if this thing had lasted, of just collecting all the comic strips instead of clipping them out of the newspaper, which is something I used to do when I was a little kid. And there's a bunch of stuff that's not hot rods in here. Here's a modern hot rod magazine called Gearhead. This is from summer of 2005. So the modern hot rod magazines have got like girly pictures and pictures of cars and these this kind of stuff. Gearhead. So it just covers Von Franco, different parts of hot rod culture, from the modern age, or modern age as of 2005. Oh, you ever seen this? This is Bob Hope's golf cart. It's made to look like his head. Anyway, that's Gearhead. That was, yeah, Gearhead. How about that? Bastards. A rabbit hole. That's another word or phrase I want to add to my list of annoying things. Although I use it. I just heard them use it in the other room. Rabbit hole. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Just saying, it is what it is. But going forward, let's look more at these. There's a mad in here. What? Everything's a mess in here, man. August of 1967, Motor Trend. So, this is one that's more just showing you what is coming out of Detroit. The 68 cars. It's showing you. It's not a one about building hot rods. And then this mad that got mixed in here is number 126 from April of '69. That goes in another box. If comic strips covered the burning issues of the day. And what big movie do they Family Affairs, the TV show. And yeah, all right, incredible. When these boxes wind up just being hodgepodges of things, that's where I might wind up finding some missing books, comics that I've been looking for. Like mixed in here is like this thing about the Battle of Gettysburg. Mixed in with the hot rod magazines. Okay. This is Automotive Digest. This is from December of 1950. So it's got cool ads in it. This is kind of more for mechanics, I think. I think I used to go to there was a big auto show in Fort Worth every year around April called the Pate Swap Meet. And it was all outdoors at the Texas Motor Speedway. And it would all be cool paraphernalia and stuff for people that are hot rodders and collect old cars. And I would buy magazines and different things when I went there. This damn yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in this box. This is the Haltom City Junior Chamber of Commerce presents 1968 Miss Haltom City Pageant, Haltom High School Auditorium, March 23rd, 1968. This is just a program for the big, and I buy these old things just because they're cool, and you got these old ads, and Ramada Inn ad. But that's what it is. It's a program.
On the big screen, none of it had to go that way if we would have just followed the law.
So anyway, that's what that is. This box is I've got boxes just filled with hot rod magazines, but this one has got all kinds of stuff in it. Let's see. Probably the classic one is a Hot Rod magazine. This is April of 1956. How to build a flathead. Someone cut something out of this. This one's not in very good shape. Yeah, someone cut a picture of a car out here. Oh, the new Corvette V8. They cut out the picture of the new Corvette V8. They must have put it on their wall as something to dream about. Yeah, all these must have been bought at one time in the Pate Swap meet. There's Carcraft. And I put them into one box. And then these really need to be organized in with my others. And I bought some of these cool old hot rod trophies. I bought some of those over the years, and there was a really tall one. It must have been 3 feet tall, and that is not here, and so I don't know, someone just threw it out because they didn't want to pack it or something, or stole it during the move. I don't know. I know that one's missing, and my Pebbles Flintstone doll from the 60s is missing. What are you barking at, for Pete's sake? Yeah, these magazines are not in the best shape. Here's December of '62. What are you seeing, Drew? What are you barking at? Yeah. Cuts to some guy with a chainsaw outside. This is a cool cover. July of '61. Carcraft. Yeah, Carcraft was a cool. Yeah, I got these cheap, but they're basically rags. They're falling apart. Oh wow. This is August of '62. Here's Hot Rod from December 1958. I do not see anything that they're barking at, Drew. But I got tons of these damn magazines. Did I show you this one? Yeah, I think I did. And then here's a cool book. I don't know if this is still available. Came out from Motor Books International, but it's George Barris Customs of the 1950s. So these are all cars he built for movie stars and stuff. A lot of these pictures came from those old magazines. So here's that one. And here's Hot Rods by Ed Big Daddy Roth. Again, it's by that same company. There's his business card. Isn't that cool? But this shows all the cars he built. A lot of them were turned into model kits. He, at a certain point, married and became a Mormon, and some of his designs with the monsters driving the hot rods, like he had one where the monster had like a switchblade or a knife, and he changed the switchblade to an ice cream cone. He tried to tame some of his early designs. Here's Hot Rod memorabilia and collectibles from that same company. And these are probably things I got at that Pate swap meet. You know, it's got all about the movies. God damn, what are you saying, Drew? The music, it was all part of the, you know, this Hot Rods permeated culture from comic books to movies to music to, and this channel is all about kid culture, and cars were just as much a part. Comic books, Mad Magazine, all of this is part of the same thing. Rock and roll. The thing about people like Joe Biden is they're moving us farther away from that wonderful world of the 50s and 60s into a Marxist nightmare, and where cars are not, you're not even allowed to have a car. The World Economic Forum, which owns, along with China, the Biden or Biden administration, because that's who writes Biden's scripts. This is Barris TV and movie cars. They don't want you to have a car. They don't like anything that you love. They want you to eat bugs instead of cheeseburgers. They want you to live in a box. This is Road Races and Car Crashes, all from that same company. They put out a bunch of cool books, man. So that's why it's important. It's part of my channel. I also talk about the fact that Donald Trump represents a world where you can own a car, and you can afford to own a car, and you're... Anyway, Confessions of a Ratfink. This is the life and times of Ed Big Daddy Roth. This one was put out by Topper Books. So, books that you should purchase. All right. What else you got in here? Shit. Okay. Let me move this incredibly heavy box out of here and bring in some more adventure comics. Wow. Waka waka. Waka moto. Here's something. The internet was quite annoying when it was created because there was all this wonderful stuff on there, but it was so ephemeral and so it just was on a screen. And as a collector, I want to own things and put things on shelves. So I started to just print like a madman off the internet and put stuff in binders because it's like, how am I going to own that cool stuff I'm seeing on the internet? So I have this one book, Kooks from the Internet. This must be 20 years old. And I was talking to Meyer Greenblatt about this, and he also collects flyers that crazy people put on the people's windshields. You know, when they go into the stores, you come out and some crazy person's put a flyer there, and he saves those things. And so I I printed this on November 9th, 1999, back in the early days of the internet. They used to, I don't know if they still have this Kooks Museum online, but I just wanted to own all this stuff, and it's all these crazy people, Francis E. Deck, all these nuts about, let's see if I can find it good. This one, some of this was printed in 2000. It's just all this these crazy writings by conspiracy people, which I find fun to read. So that's what this is. I've got tons of these binders filled with internet stuff, because the internet it's such a frustrating thing to collect. You can't collect the internet. So got a spider web in it. Anyway, I wanted to show you the depths of my insanity. Hold on a second.
Together with To The Vote, we launched a national effort to educate citizens and equip sheriffs at protectamerica.vote. Election day is on November 8th, so voters can cast early ballots weeks before Election Day. Across America, there are thousands of ballot drop boxes, but sadly, many boxes have no video surveillance and no oversight. You can't have official ballot boxes with no monitoring. This is just another reason why voters are frustrated. Now, sheriffs are working to change this, but in the meantime, we need your help. First, let's get educated. It's illegal in most states to cast another voter ballot unless they are family, member of the household, or caregiver. So don't do it. Second, if you see something unusual, call our voter integrity hotline. And lastly, please go to protectamerica.com.
All right.
Sign up, join our effort, and connect with your local.
Sorry to go wash my hands. Okay. Well, going forward, we're going to continue looking at adventure comics. We're going to build back better, ladies and gentlemen, because climate change is terrible. But anyway, we're going to go down this rabbit hole. Just saying, because it is what it is, and we're going to build back better. 356, Adventure Comics 356. How about that? Here's another great purple cover, 357. By the way, you're watching the Garage Orloff Show. 358. Yeah, we have a new tripod here, thanks to Captain Strange Life, that I am currently using. It's keeping the picture stable. $3.59. He sent that as a present in the mail, along with a cool book that I'm going to start reading tonight. Another purple cover, which is hard to read. $3.63 or 1? No, this is $3.61 because this is $3.63, also with a purplish cover. How about that? Okay. So I have 3 copies of Adventure 364. One of them is not bagged, so that gives us a chance to look inside. These are tiny little trains. What scale would they be? Actual size, oh, that's in scale. They're calling them postage stamp trains, but yeah, my brother collected in scale trains. The standard is like HO size, so that's 1967. Cool ads, cool art. Fight global air battles with planes of all nations. 116 planes, only $1.25. I think I've got some of those. They're little plastic planes molded about that big. At least they were inherited. They came down to me through my brothers, and I don't know if they bought them in a 5 and dime store or if I don't think they ordered it from the comic. I really don't. So there's 2 more copies of that issue. The Revolt of the Super Pets, $3.64. Then I go all the way to $3.70. You can see the look of the comic is changing as we're getting into that Neil Adams kind of era. Things are becoming a little more realistic looking. $3.73. $3.76. $3.80. $3.87. So I'm missing a good 6 issues there, huh? Damn. This is the $3.90 special all romance issue. Super Horse's Human Identity, Supergirl's Wedding Day, Superman's Romance with Supergirl's Double, plus how Supergirl met Dick Malvern, also Supergirl's Cowboy Hero. This great issue is $3.90. All right. That is about when, by the way, I haven't pointed out. I didn't point out. Did I show you this one? I showed you that. Did I? So 380. By 387, I was so distracted by the fact that I was missing 6 issues that the Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes are no longer in Adventure. See, they switched over to Supergirl. And anyway. And so I guess around that time, the Superboy comic is where the Legion of Superheroes wound up residing. Here's the 400th issue of Adventure. Supergirl seems like she changes her costume, her uniform every issue. They're trying to... I think they're trying to sell more copies. 409. That's my thought. It was like, how can we show more skin on Supergirl? Maybe that'll sell copies. So it didn't work to show more skin. So by 412, well, maybe if we just cover her up even more, maybe that'll work. But we can have a bondage cover. Maybe that'll attract the guys. And then 415, they have her splayed out. Now they're showing her legs again. Like every issue, it seems like the costume's changing. Here's 417. Now her panties are a little frilly, a little bit different. Okay, so after that, I think when it became 20 cents, it became Weird Adventure, and they started having the Spectre and some other type characters in it. So that moves me in the box to what's next after Adventure would be Adventures of Bob Hope. And here's number 95. Now, I've always loved Bob Hope, but I've always loved monsters even more. And the Bob Hope comic, they started putting lots of monsters in the comic too, because Bob Hope really was, something the kids' parents were Bob Hope fans, and it's like, how are you going to sell Bob Hope, who by that time was probably in his 60s, to 10-year-olds? Well, we'll put monsters in the comic, and they're wonderful. Now, you weren't, according to the comics code, you couldn't have undead and vampires in comic books at this time unless it was a classical depiction from literature, like Bram Stoker's Dracula. So what they're doing here is they're making these monsters look traditional, so they're not threatening. When a few years later, this is issue 98. I need to have all of these monster covers. A few years later, they would relax the standards of the comics code, and that's when the monster explosion of the 70s would start. But that was a few years ahead. We're still in the go-go checks era, and that wouldn't happen until about 71, 72, that you could have vampires. But, because this is Dracula, he's a literary figure, the book Dracula's in your high school library, so you can, that's how they got away with it. And here, 101, not only do they have the monsters, because monsters were popular in the 60s, they bring in a British invasion type guy, and they've got surfing. They're covering just about all the fads that they possibly can grab onto to sell comics, including go-go girls in cages, in addition to the monsters that are ever present. That was issue 102. 104, I'm missing 103. That's not good. $105. And another copy of 105. Here's 106. 107. And then that change happened where everything started to be a little more realistic, and you could even see it in the Bob Hope comic, 108, where the Neil Adams influence is there. In this case, I believe that is a Neil Adams cover, yeah. That's why it's in, Neil Adams is influencing himself. But even when it is Neil Adams, it's more realistic after that time because people are trying to draw like Neil Adams. Okay. So now we're into The Adventures of Jerry Lewis, 93. And they would use monsters on the cover of Jerry Lewis as well. And 95, camp counselors that look like Nazis. That's 95. And then, yeah, this summer camp theme goes for a while. Here's 109. Now the Nazi guy is back as a gym teacher. Here's the 100th issue with an alien on the cover. Wait a second. These are out of order. 108, 108, 99, 100. How did these get out of order? Okay, 99, 100, yeah. 108, 109. There's another copy of 109. Here's the number is covered up by someone's 15-cent stamp. And then we have All-American Men of War from the early 60s. You can tell because the 12-cent price tag is big to attract the attention of the retailers so they don't accidentally charge the old price of 10 cents. Okay. And then All-American Men of War number 97. They aren't drawing attention to the 12-cent price anymore. Here's Amazing Adventures number 1, The Inhumans and Black Widow. Looks like I'm missing 2. Here's Amazing Adventures number 3. Number 4. And number 6. That's definitely a Neil Adams cover. Okay. So next, Amazing Adult Fantasy number 13. This is not a real copy. This is a reprint from JCPenney. See, Marvel did the same thing. They made the 12 cents real big when they first switched over to it to call attention to the person at the checkout counter. Okay, so obviously next would be The Amazing Spider-Man, which I don't have a very good collection of it, and I'm really ashamed because when I was a kid, I would just get Marvel Tales, and I knew that I would rather have the Amazing Spider-Man comics, but I just couldn't afford them. And so I've tried to do my best over the years, but here's number 22. I want to get more. I will at some point, you know, if I can. 22. If you've got duplicates and are willing to sell early, you know, Spider-Mans, you know, and I might be someone that would be interested. Here's 32. Now this one, I remember holding an Amazing Spider-Man 32 when I was like in fourth grade. I was at a friend's house, and he had a horribly beat up copy of 32 that his older brother had handed down to him, because I remember the little picture of Aunt May there, and I remember thinking that's so cool, but I only wound up getting this just a few years ago at Duncanville Books. They say it's a 4.0 small tear back cover, it says. 32. And then I have 54. I was watching a bunch of documentaries on YouTube yesterday about the Amish, as I see them all around here locally, and I was interested in them. And apparently there's all different types of Amish. There's the more conservative ones that don't have any electricity in their homes at all, and have the horse and buggies, and then there's more liberal ones that are called, what do they call them? They're more Mennonites, but they're Amish, but they don't, you know, they'll have a cell phone that's blocked to most of the internet, and they'll have trucks, and they'll have air conditioning and electricity in their houses, but no TV. They're more, but they're all fascinating. They just seem like such good people, and I wanted to find out a little bit more about them, so I was watching that last night. Here's 57. This is another one I bought in the last few years from Duncanville Books. Here's 58. I'd love to have the issue where Mary Jane first appears. 59. These are such sacred relics. Here's 62. I bought this at Lone Star Comics years ago. Lone Star Comics, I've shown you this before. They would write the condition in pencil on the cover. So if you look where it says 62 next to the 2, I don't know if the camera picks it up, but very lightly in pencil it says VG. They stopped doing that, but I guess they were afraid people could switch out the bags if they wrote the condition on the bags, so they just wrote it on the comic. Here's 65. Okay. Here's 66. Then I have